So, welcome and good evening. Let me just check the time. It's 7 after 9 in Germany, so 9 p.m. German time, 3 p.m. New York time, and noon in Los Angeles, 7 a.m. in Sydney. So pretty early in the morning. So one last thing to fix here is moving this to the prompter. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back. I see a lot of familiar faces already in the chat. Unfortunately, I think today the integration with the YouTube chat is broken. That means we're only going to see the Twitch chat up here on screen. Seems not to be working tonight for YouTube, but I can still see everything that you're writing. And I'm quiet on YouTube. Why am I quiet on YouTube? Can you hear me on Twitch? Would be my question. Can you hear me on Twitch? You can barely hear me. Okay, so it should, to be honest. So let me double check. The microphone volume is pretty good actually on Twitch. Let me double check. Sound check. Okay, I'm going to try Twitch first. Sound check. Okay, I'm going to try Twitch first. Okay. Sound check. Okay, I'm going to try Twitch first. Okay, I'm pushing the volume a bit. Okay, I'm pushing the volume a bit. Hope this is better now. So pushing in. I'm pushing the volume a bit. So we can even further push it. I think this is too much. Pushing the volume a bit. Okay, it's better now. Even further push it. I think this is too much. Can you hear me better now? Okay, so at least I think on Twitch it should be working. Let me try YouTube. Okay, so at least I think on Twitch it should be working. Okay, it sounds better now. Sounds better now. Some issues. I don't know what's exactly is going on. We have a couple of drop frames. I'm not so happy how networking is working or not working at the moment. Some of the issues that I had last week were related to network. And that's also the reason why I've ordered a new network switch. It's already there, but I didn't get to actually install it yet. Let me double check the internet connection. But internet speed is actually pretty good. So we still have some headroom there. And why we're dropping frames, I can only imagine this has actually nothing to do with network. It is more about, or not in the internet, but it's probably more a network topic. So let me know if anything is stuttering, if the frame rate is really dropping severely. Currently, it seems to be stable enough, I guess. And we are not dropping frames, at least for now. Okay, so volume should be okay. I think the initial music volume was a bit loud, but now this is like I said, this is the normal volume now. This should be the volume that we're going to use throughout the rest of the video. So you probably have to raise it up a bit. So let's see. New merch has arrived. Actually, I have just got my new Crosslink mug here. It's just came with DHL, like pretty fresh. Also the new hoodie. I was like really waiting for the new hoodies to come with the new NASA font. So I'm really happy that everything is now in the merch shop, and we're like switching to the new design entirely. which is, I was really anxiously waiting for the stuff. So, okay, what are we doing tonight? I guess, first of all, I've been sick for the last 2 weeks, which was crazy. It was really crazy time. The last 2 weeks, I was completely flat, like with fever and all the stuff that you can imagine. It was terrible. So I'm happy to be back now and live and streaming again. And wish me luck that my voice doesn't give up tonight. Wish me luck that it's still gonna hold up, and we can still talk and do this. Thank you very much.
Welcome
Thank
back.
you very much, Zileon, subscribing with Prime. Oh my goodness, I see that I haven't done this for such a long time now. Interesting enough is that on Twitch there was some kind of alerts showing up, and they were actually not showing up on YouTube. So interesting. Great. 4 months subscribed with Prime. Thank you very much, Silena. So let me welcome a few people here, like a few familiar faces. Rick, welcome to the stream. Sileon, of course. 3D Snafu and Toxic Father 45. Welcome. I hope that a few more people are going to drop in throughout the evening. Now, what are we doing tonight? I have not yet finished this pirate, but I have printed a couple of things. Like for tonight, I have printed the hair, and I was thinking about, like, we probably need to modify the hair model file, and I was lucky that I had exactly cut the pieces of the print already in such a way that I'm hoping that we can have kind of a modular haircut, if you will. This is, hope you can recognize this. This is the top part of the hair piece for the pirate, and I think that we can have it kind of as a modular top where we can remove it if we want to. So if we don't want to use the tricone hat, we can probably just replace it with the top part of the hair. The problem is we cannot put like the whole hair wig on the figure and then also put the tricone hat on top. So we will still have to remove this very top element if we want to use the tricone hat. And I think this is the last piece I want to try out later, like whether we can have a kind of modular where we can always decide whether we want to use just this top part or we want to use the tricone head. Now, with all of the rest of the parts that are also printed from black PLA, we need to assemble them, glue them together, and then try out how this all looks like if we just put it over the head. I think this is a good step forward towards finally becoming our little minifigure. That was basically the template that I was using, or the idea that I had, that we're going to build exactly this little guy here from Pirates of the Caribbean. And we probably also still have to do some painting, because if this is not removable. So in this original version, what you can remove is actually the complete wig together with the hat, but this is one piece, so it's not multiple pieces. And we have it in multiple pieces now. We can always go back and forth between different versions of this. For this Lego minifigure, there's also a version that just has this wig and the red bandage on top without the hat. So there is a version of this from Lego. And now we have the advantage that we have multiple pieces, and we can always switch back and forth and decide what we actually want to have. Yeah, so Jack Sparrow, we're getting a step closer to building Jack Sparrow with the 3D printer. I'm really excited. So let's start. I guess first step we need to do is, there's a couple more people like DWIT3D Canada. Hi there, first time catching one of your streams, long time subscriber. Thank you for coming by. And yeah, I would say we're gonna figure out which parts are connected in which way. And then we're gonna glue the stuff together. Now, the last time I made the mistake that I didn't ventilate this room enough. And if you've ever worked with this kind of super glue, well, if you're doing this just for a short period of time, it is not a big issue. But if you're really doing a lot of gluing like we did last time, like we used up a whole bottle of this glue, this is 20 gram, then it gets really nasty and it's like in the room if you don't ventilate. So it's really highly recommended that you're ventilating the room when you're using this CA glue. It's, yeah, it could at least that can get into your lungs, and some people might react to that more or less. It's definitely not healthy. I would say it's super toxic, but it's definitely not going to be healthy. So I'd say from that perspective, we're starting probably with this back element. Then we can glue the front part, and we can already try it on. And then we can add all of the rest here, which are like basically the lower parts of the hair, and also these little corner elements. And this one, I'm just not going to glue on. I'm just going to use the plugs here as a kind of a temporary connector to hold it in place when we want it. And then we can always hopefully separate it later if we want to. So that's at least my hope. Not sure if it's going to work to have this as a modular wig, but we're going to try. So first part here is actually just starting with the gluing holes and putting a good amount of super glue in, or like a good drop. And then we're pushing in the first 4 connectors, hoping that everything fits. I've tried the fit of the connectors multiple times, printing different sizes here. I came down to one that is a little bit smaller. I reduced the size of the connector pins a slightly bit from, I think it was originally 10 millimeter diameter, and the holes are also supposed to be 10 millimeters. And of course that won't fit perfectly if it's 3D printed. So I came down to, I think, 9.7 or 9.6 millimeters in diameter for the pins. So they have a little bit of wiggle. They're not like completely stuck. So you definitely need the super glue. And now we can do a little bit of a test fit here. But yeah, the fit is okay. It's just like basically just quite flexible. And here you already see like the pins are coming out, and it's probably not enough glue. But we're also going to do additional glue on the surfaces here. So once we put everything together, I think we will have plenty of glue actually on every side of this. And I have zero doubt that this is not going to come apart. And yeah, so we're going to put a little bit more here on the surface. I'm always thinking, yeah, not too much, but also not too little. The problem with this kind of super glue is that, I mean, this is kind of a gel-like glue, so it's not going to like run anywhere. It's not very fluid. On the other hand, you need a good amount. So it is really connecting the 3D printed pieces. Problem with these pieces is they're not completely flat. Some of the parts are, like when they come off the build plate, they are perfectly connected to the build plate, so they're not warping, but still the surface is probably like not 100% flat. So sometimes you will realize that the printed parts are still having a little bit of a gap, and you have to be using a little more, very generously use more super glue, so there is a little bit of a connection or a better connection. I feel that this might not be perfect yet. I might need more glue, but we're just gonna press it a little bit together and hope that it is enough. Now anyways, there are so many connectors all around, and like once this is all connected into a circle, it is going to be more stable, but I don't want the things to come apart still, and I think this is, yeah, I feel this is not enough glue yet. So there's definitely, you can see this actually. These two surfaces, when they come together, only a little bit of the glue has transferred to the second surface, so the counterpart. So I guess what we need is a little more glue here. And this is easy actually with this kind of gel-like glue. It is at least a little bit easier because it's not going to run anywhere. And we can create a good amount of surface area. But the smell and the fumes, I can already feel it. It's enormous with this kind of glue. So it's good that today I'm at least ventilating while we are doing this. And we have to press it together. I think I can't, for this part, we cannot use the clamps because there is no way to really push it otherwise than with my hands. It's not gonna work. Looks like you could try the hair on. I guess the diameter of the part is probably human size. If I'm not wrong, the head of the Lego figure is probably as big as a human head, somewhat. So it from Amazon. The problem with the activator spray is if it doesn't really go in like on the plastic or on the parts where the glue is. If you're just spraying it on the, let's say the gap here, it's probably not going to have a kind of a huge effect on the glue inside, right? So it should get in contact with the glue. Then it's gonna super fast, gonna harden out the glue. But for this section here, there is no way that the spray can go inside. And so that's why I think it doesn't really make sense to use the activator for this. We just have to wait a little bit and then hold parts together. So, stream elements. Why is it telling me that we are now live? There probably was an interruption, right? Was it? Not sure. Did we drop any frames? Now it tells me 0 drop frames. I hope we did not restart the stream now. Hopefully not. There was a small hiccup, okay? Interesting, because the stream shows now 0 dropped frames. That means it kind of has restarted, if I'm not wrong. And I hope I didn't lose you. Hope there was no real interruption in the stream. For me, it shows stream is still going on. The stream is still live on YouTube, so that was not actually an interruption. On Twitch, there might have been a quick break. But yeah, let's see. Okay, I think we can risk going further to the next section. I hope we can. It's it's still separating. So maybe we still try the activator spray. Maybe we're gonna risk the activator spray, even if it's not super effective. But we can try to bring it closer to the gap here. Hopefully, can get some of the spray inside, so it's hardening out the glue faster. That's the purpose of the spray, actually. So we can try, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work. It might help a little bit. Twitch went black, and now it's back after refresh. Okay, that's good to hear. We can hope this is going to work. We can try on the other end. Is there maybe a chance to get the activator spray inside of this little crack here? But there's no guarantee that this is going to help, because there's 0 contact surface visible with the glue. Okay, let's just keep it like that. Let's just go on with the next part. Next element is this part here. This is the part that is in front of the head, basically like this. Yeah, this is the part. And it also uses how many? I think 4 connector pins on each side. So let's go. and have all the connectors. Now we need to do 8 connection points. Yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages with the gel glue. The good part is it is like still flexible you can still make corrections, move parts. If you're not sure if the things are really perfectly in position, you can still move the parts. But the disadvantage is clearly that it is taking longer to fully dry. And so that's why you need, normally I'm using activator, but I normally also have kind of a surface that I can spray it on. And here, I'm not sure if it's really working, but we can still try. So this is one side. And then the second issue with the activator spray is you can see it already, it leaves a little bit of a, I would say, yeah, there's some kind of like change in color a little bit. There is some residue left here on the plastic part. That's the disadvantage as well with the activator spray. It's not perfectly invisible after you use it, right? So you can see this little bit of a white shadow here on the plastic. That's, you can normally, if you're gluing together, if you're gluing stuff that is not 3D printed, you won't, like you can still clean the stuff, right? You can clean it up afterwards. But it goes into the layer lines, and so this little shadow here is probably not gonna go away at any time. That's the disadvantage of using the activator spray. That's why I don't really love it so much. Although it might be working, but with 3D prints, if you want the surface to be perfect, it's not the thing that you should use. So now the fumes are already coming. It's really bad, actually. So how much glue do we need on the surface? I think I'm gonna go for a good amount on both sides. Not sure how much connection surface there is actually, but we're gonna do a little bit here on the counter side. So we have more touching. Oh, this is smelling really bad, But we have, at least we have the window open, not much more that I can do. And now it's time to get it done. So the good part is we don't have to hurry, because this is still very flexible glue. And here we go. Now what we can try out, I want to try out the fitting of the top part, which I want to keep like I don't want to glue it on. I just want to have it like kind of a flexible connection here with the plugs so that we can always remove it when we want. So I'm going to just glue the plugs into the top element and then try out whether we can easily just remove it. But we have to let the plug connector glue dry first before we do it, before we put it on. So not doing too much glue on the surface. That would be, otherwise would be a little bit of an issue here. So I think we have a bit too much glue here. It's protruding out. Let's get rid of that. That's it for the part. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave this to dry, and we will just, now there's another It's a bit of did use too much glue here. It's coming out of the hole. So we want to get rid of the excess glue. This time we don't want to have anything coming out here, because it should be a very flat fit later. But it's okay. Like, I think we're good. So we're going to leave this for drying. We can then try fit it on later. And this here, I think this still needs to dry. We can use, I would say, using the activator just on the inside so we're not ruining the part from the outside. Just using a little bit of that, probably not the worst. Hoping that this is going to accelerate the glue enough, at least, so we can do a little bit of a test fit. So let's try this on. What's the best camera for this? Probably this one, yeah. So we're going to test the fitting of the hair. And the idea is that we're just going to slide it over, and I hope I did leave enough space. Okay. That doesn't look too bad, to be honest. Now the question of the day is if I did make the cut in the right way. Yeah. So that's actually nice, to be honest. Surprisingly nice. Only problem is that here we have a little bit of a sharp corner here, because I did not like delete or not make this flat, so it is still going to be a little bit of protruding out. But yeah, that's why we want the flexibility of replacing the head with the remaining wig, right? This was the idea, that we'd always have the chance to just put the original this part on, right? And then we can just say we don't want to have, we just want to use the hair and the bandage, which we're going to paint in red later. So this already looks promising. Now the funny part was that this wig was actually not available for download anywhere in a way that it would fit on this figure. So I had to take. I found this part on printables, I guess, if I'm not wrong, and it was designed to fit on the original Lego minifigure. And I had tried it on this original minifigure, the small guy. It printed it in the original size and it was designed, and it also didn't fit. So someone designed this part, or maybe they just 3D scanned it from the original and it didn't fit on the original figure, and so I assumed that it also doesn't fit on this one because this is designed after the original. So I had to modify this part first and cut out a new center part that makes enough space for the head so it will fit on the figure. And I think this is now perfectly fitting, so I'm gonna upload this to, I think I already uploaded it to Thingiverse or to printables. So it's available for download, if I'm not wrong, and if not, I'm double checking that I've done it. I made it already public. So this is then an additional download for this figure here. So if you ever want to print this kind of hair, then you can do it yourself in any kind of size. Of course, in the original size for the original Lego minifigure, or like any upscaled version that you might want to do. Hey, who's coming in? Coco-san. Coco-san, hi. Welcome. Welcome to the late night stream. Now, we're gonna do the next part, which is the back side of the hair, which is going to be protruding out and going down on the back of the figure, and then we have these two little corner pieces left to do. So let's get moving. I also do the connection pieces here first. Now it's actually getting easier now because the main part is already pretty well connected, so it shouldn't be an issue. So getting our connector plugs in. 1, 2. I need 4. I think I printed 1. I think I missed to print 1. One of the connectors is missing for whatever reason. I don't actually know why. I think last time I still had it here on the table and it somehow got lost. So I think it doesn't really matter. Like if we leave this one out, there's so many other connectors still. And we still have the whole surface that we can use to glue. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. The amount of glue that we're using here is ridiculous, to be honest. I guess we're going to use another complete bottle tonight, finishing this. So much glue. So let's have a good amount here on the surface. As well as here. I'm doing both sides because I think that, again, because of the way this is printed, it could be not perfectly flat, and so the connector or the connection surface area is maybe not big enough. And there might be a small gap, but yeah, it should still be working fine. Okay, so this is done, I guess. We'll just leave it for drying. And now we're doing the last 2 pieces, which are on the front, like these little 2 pieces here at the front. Just 4 more pins to connect, and then we are done with the lower section. Okay, so let's have more glue on here. This looks already quite promising. Last time we took actually more time. Now we're getting faster. So this is done. And the last piece. And I think it's not the worst idea. We just put, at least from the inside, we can put a little bit of activator spray on. So we're gonna get it to dry a little bit faster. Not doing the outside because, as you've seen, there might be some leftover spray or some gray shadow, which is not looking the best. So just want to use it here on the inside so it's not visible when we have the whole wig on the figure. Now this is the final piece. Pretty big thingy. And we can now risk, I think we can risk to put it on. Let's do it. So the wig comes on the figure. It's actually not really easy anymore because it's so big, but it should be fitting. I hope we don't have any issues. And it sits on nicely. Sits on nicely. So this is the front. This is the back side, right? Pretty big, but yeah, Jack Sparrow has a lot of hair, and not everything in this, like actually not everything here is actually hair. If you look at the original again, you will see that there is actually a few pieces of this element here. Like there's a couple of decorations here, right? He has some, I think, I don't know how this is called. Like there is some, yeah, I mean, he has this red bandage on top, like which is actually over his head. And then there is a couple more, yeah, I don't know how this is called. So I would say, I would call it decorations here. That's somehow in the hair, or just like kind of probably wind it up in the hair. So a couple of things that's actually making this bigger, but in the original it's all pretty big, really big part, a lot of hair, and then also some like I would say cloth paint, right? So that's why I got these little, at least I hope this is enough paint